can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted to be joined by Elliot Stott. We are in preview mode, previewing the world title fight in the cruiserweight division on Saturday, 6th of December. We're in Australia for Jai Opetaia, who's facing Huseyin Cinkara. I hope I got his name right, but yes, Cinkara undefeated, 23-0, 19 stoppages. Obviously, Opetaia needs no introduction. We are here previewing this fight, Elliot. IBF and Ring Magazine cruiserweight titles on the line. A couple of questions I want to ask you surrounding this fight, surrounding Opetaia, the cruiserweight landscape. But first and foremost, please give me your thoughts on an initial prediction for this fight.
Thanks for having me on, Paul. I'm struggling to be as enthusiastic about this as you've just been. Opetaia, he's an elite fighter, he's a fantastic fighter, but I think he's losing a bit of relevancy, and you're now seeing big fights happening in this division without him. Badu Jack and Michelarian. I've not said that name properly. Apologies, but they're having their rematch. I think a week later after this fight. A few days ago, it looked like Zurdo Ramirez and David Benavidez were going to be fighting in May, Cinco de Mayo. These are kind of unification big fights, and Opetaia's not involved in either of them. At the same time, it's kind of no secret, like kind of the top fighters have been dumping Opetaia for some time now. Gilberto Ramirez being the prime suspect. So yeah, I feel sorry for Opetaia. Cinkara, 40 years old now. I think if you're only kind of really getting your first big opportunity at the age of 40, something's wrong there. So I don't think this is going to be much of a challenge, to be honest. I think an Opetaia is going to win this one by stoppage kind of when he wants to be honest. So we'll see. It's another fight in what's been a bit of a stagnated career for Opetaia.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and you completely you completely nailed everything you've said there. I mean, it's not Opetaia's fault, obviously, to a certain degree. Like he's beaten everyone put in front of him. He has called for the Gilberto Ramirez fight, the unification, whatever, and it just, for one reason or another, doesn't seem to be working out for him. He is getting ducked, it seems. So yeah, but I feel for Jai Opetaia in that sense. But yeah, in terms of my thoughts on this fight, yeah, on paper, Sankara looks like a big puncher, but you're right, he's 40 years old, and at 40 years of age, I wonder how his chin will take it the first time Jai Opetaia lands, you know, a big left hand from the southpaw stance or a hook of whatever. I would be fairly surprised if it isn't a fairly routine, early enough stoppage by Opetaia. I agree with what you said in terms of it kind of ends when Opetaia wants it to, and that's my feelings on this fight. And so yeah, you're right. It's hard to be totally optimistic about it, and buzzing for the fight. Um, but yeah, I suppose Jai Opetaia can only beat who's been put in front of him, and it's maybe an opportunity, without sounding disrespectful to Sin Cara, it's maybe an opportunity for Opetaia to add a highlight reel knockout to his. Well, he's already got a few, hasn't he? But yeah, a couple of questions I want to ask before we round off, mate. We kind of just touched on it there, and you touched on it there. So, without going over old ground, do you feel that Opetaia will unify or become undisputed at cruiserweight, or do you think that ship has sailed now?
Um, I think one person that would fight him would be David. I think David Benavidez would fight him. If David Benavidez can beat Gilberto Ramirez, that's a fight that we could see probably this time next year. It's just a case of does Jai Opetaia want to kind of continue waiting around or not? Um, so I can see that. That's one fight I can see happening. I don't think Gilberto Ramirez, because I just think Gilberto Ramirez. I just don't think he's gonna fight him. The winner of Badu Jack and the person who I can't pronounce, I don't think they're gonna fight him either, and I don't think there's appetite to see that fight. Badu Jack's about 42 years old now. So yeah, that's one way I can see it, and I just think it's a case of does Badu Jack continue to wait around, or does he move up? I think he's in danger of waiting around for too long, basically, and losing relevancy.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of agree with what you said there. Originally, when Opetaia became world champion, I was like, right, now try and grab all the belts. Seeing it more in boxing these days. Obviously, Bud Crawford did it. He's done it. Canelo did it before that. We've seen a lot of undisputed champions of late. Wanted that to happen with Opetaia. Thought it could at one stage, but yeah, it seems unlikely now. And yeah, you're right. I don't see him fighting. If it, say, for example, it was Benavidez, there's an opportunity to unify there. You're right. That would be another year potentially of Opetaia fighting people like Cinkara. Do you want that, or do you make a move somewhere else in your career? Which leads me on and segues nicely into what I was going to ask you next, mate, and that is there's been talk of an Opetaia move up to heavyweight. His promoter Eddie Hearn has mentioned it a few times that it's inevitable that he will compete at heavyweight. So my question for you, Elliot, is a simple yes or no. Do feel free to add a little bit more to than that. But do you feel that Opetaia wins a world title up at heavyweight?
Um, it's a tough. It's. I think it's a tough one. If I had to answer, I'd say yes, he can, because I don't think there's an overwhelming amount of talent coming through at heavyweight now, with heavyweights who are kind of under the age of 30. So I think Opetaia could do, but you have to speculate in terms of why his team and him haven't moved up to heavyweight now, with the opportunities not coming at cruiserweight. It would be foolish to assume he can do the exact same that Alexander Usyk can do, and just move up and just kind of move up like it's nothing and keep on winning. Opetaia might be able to do that. He might not be. Opetaia, he's not a massive cruiserweight, so he's not going to have an easy time at heavyweight when it does happen. I personally think there's a plan here. There's a plan to move up at a certain once he's maybe unified at cruiserweight, or when he's at a certain age to move up there. And I think there's been a plan set in stone for a while. When that could be, whether it's 2026, 2027, 2028, I don't know. He's still only 30, so it might be another two. It might be another 2 or 3 years away. They might be waiting for him to, when it gets to that point where it's that bit tougher to make cruiserweight. That might be the time to move up to heavyweight. But it's all, yeah, it's all up in the air. What him and his team are actually aiming for. I know they want the big fights at cruiserweight, but with those fights not happening, I'm not really sure what the plan B is.
Yeah, totally agree, man. I'm not sure what the plan is, but in terms of whether or not I see Jai Opetaia winning a world title at heavyweight, I think I agree with you. I think I would right here, right now, I would say yes, just because, as you've mentioned, gone are the days of. It looks like gone are the days of the Furies and the Joshuas of this world at the top of the tree. Usyk probably doesn't have a lot that long left, and might not even fight again. We don't know. But I look at then the rest of the landscape, as you correctly alluded to, Elliot, and I think that Jai Opetaia could definitely win a version of a world title. Because I look at the heavyweight landscape and bar your standout, ones coming through like your Moses Itamas of this world. I don't really see many others. And Opetaia for me, yeah, could definitely win a version of a world heavyweight title. But that is all we have time for. He has to get through Cinkara first in September, on December 6th, sorry. IBF and Ring Magazine cruiserweight titles on the line. Elliot, thank you very much for joining me. Enjoyed that preview. Guys, if you're watching this video, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not doing so already. Drop us a like on the video and let us know in the comments your thoughts. Elliot, pleasure as always, mate. Speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Phil.